Hello, this video presentation is on simplifying radicals. Radicals are nothing more than square roots. The square root of 4 is 2 because 2 times 2 times 2 equals 4. All right? Square root of 81 is 9 because 9 times 9 is 81. Now, this symbol, the radical, this is the radical, is the positive square root. Positive or principal square root. All numbers except 0 have 2 square roots. We're only looking at the positive one today. Now, what happens when you have the square root of 8? How do we simplify that? Well, the square root of two numbers, product of two numbers, is equal to the square root of A times the square root of B. So when we take the square root of 8, we look for the largest perfect square of 8. Let me erase that. Square root of 8 is 4 times 2, which is equal to the square root of 4 times the square root of 2. And the square root of 4 is 2 square root of 2. And we're done. We look for the largest perfect square. Well, how do we find that largest perfect square? The square root of 96, we don't necessarily know. So what we do is we divide 96 by prime factors. Prime numbers. We use only primes. So 2 goes into 96, 48 times. 2 goes into 48, 24. 2 goes into 24, 12. 2 goes into 12, 6. 2 goes into 6 3 times. So 96 is nothing more than 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. And 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 times 3. And this is the square root of 4 times the square root of 4 times the square root of 6. 2 times 2, square root of 4 is 2, square root of 4 is 2, square root of 6, or 4 square root of 6. Now, you can do all this but you don't need to. The way you should be doing it is circling pairs. We're going to look for pairs. 2 times 2 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. I have another pair. 2 times 2 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. And then I have the square root of 6, or 4 square root of 6. Let's do another one. All right, we have 360, square root of 360. Now, anytime the number's even, I can divide by 2. If it ends in a 0, I can divide by 5. But I like to start with dividing by 2 because I think that's the easiest. So we have 360. If we divide it by 2, we get 180. Divide it by 2, we get 90. Divide it by 2, we get 45. Because I end in a 5, I can divide by 5. And I get 9. And that's divisible by 3 and 3. Or 3, my result is 3. Now I circle pairs. All right, a pair of 2s gives me 2. A pair of 3s, always looking for pairs, gives me 3. No more pairs. 2 times 5 is 10, or 6 square root of 10. We're going to do one more, and then we're going to look at fractions. Actually, before we look at our last example, I want to look at this one more time, the square root of 360. There's another way to do it that's much simpler, if you're really good with mental math. We always want the largest perfect square, all right? Well, 360 is nothing more than 36 times 10. Why did I break it up this way? Because 36 is a perfect square, and the square root of 36 is 6. We get the same result. Same result. But sometimes you can do it with a lot less work. All right. Now let's look at our last example, which is 2 times square root of 375. So we're going to break up 375. Because it ends in a 5, I'm going to divide by 5, and I get 125. Because it's divisible by 5, I'm going to do that again, and I get 25. That's not right. 5 is 15, my bad. And I get 3. No, I made a mistake. All right, let's start this over. Doing mental math too fast sometimes is not good. All right, 5 goes into 375. Yeah, I'm having a brain fart here. 5 into 375. 7, 35, 75. And 5 goes into 75, 15, and 3 and 5. So I look for pairs. I have a pair of 5s, so that comes out. So don't forget this 2, everything's multiplied by 2. So I have 2 times 5, no more pairs, and I have the square root of 15, or 10 square root of 15. All right, last thing. Well, you know what? This video has gone long enough. I guess we're not going to do the last thing. All right, this is going to end it. We'll just have to do it tomorrow, and we'll go from there. All right, have a good night, everybody.